Here's Jeff Paterson, our Canucks reporter, the host of RinkWide Vancouver, who unpacked a shutout victory for the home team last night. Jeff?
And Matt, I'm sure you will look splendid in the level wear. I don't know that it'll help you swing like Corey Connors or Taylor Pendrith. I saw both of them rocking the gear at the Sony Open last week in Hawaii.
Okay.
So it does look good, I'll say. And I've been to the website. It's a lovely collection. But again, it'll help you look good. Just not sure what it can do for your swing.
Where's all this shade coming from?
So much shade
did I
on
beat him recently or something? I've never beat him.
This is a guy that knows.
You sounded pretty excited about getting your level wear, and I can understand why, but it has its limitations, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Jeff.
Jeff, it's a lot of shade, and I'm here for it.
I need a lot of fixing is the moral of this story. Jeff, team shutout. I mean, I feel bad for Tolopilo in one respect, but hey, they both have to wear part of that Tuesday game against the Sharks. Just tell how rare is the team shutout? We don't often talk about the official scorer in hockey, but the official scoring came into play last night.
Yeah, Kevin Lankinen with his 2 minutes and 11 seconds made exactly one save, and I saw somebody point out that it actually deflected off Tyler Myers' skate.
Yes.
And so, but hey, everybody has their role to play, right? And Lankinen forced into action. Fascinating to hear Adam Foote after the game with the explanation that the concussion spotting process is different for goaltenders than it is for skaters. I didn't know that, so that's what I learned yesterday. But for Tolopilo, sure. I mean, that's the gold standard for goaltenders is stopping every puck that comes your way, and he did that. But I think the win is more important, and really the performance is the most important thing for him at this stage of his career. So he's backed up a 55-minute performance against San Jose, where he only gave up a couple of power play goals. One of them was a 5-on-3. This guy hasn't given up a 5-on-5 goal in his 2 appearances this week. You can't do any better than that. So he's a big man, as so many of today's goaltenders are, and I just think he understands that there's an economy to his motion. He doesn't seem to overplay pucks. He lets his size do a lot of the work for him. And he looked poised and patient, and the Ducks can score. I know the Ducks are missing Leo Carlson and Troy Terry and Mason McTavish, and in a scoreless game midway through the third, of course, they would have loved to have had those guys at their disposal, but every team's got injuries, and the Canucks certainly aren't going to feel sorry for the Ducks and who they're missing from their lineup. But they're still a good rush team. They scored 3 power play goals the other night in Edmonton in a loss there, so they can still beat you, and give the Canucks credit. I thought they provided a much better defensive environment in front of both goaltenders last night than certainly the San Jose game, but really than we have seen on the homestand and on that 6-game road trip that preceded it. So it's in there somewhere.
Yes.
Deep down, it's there.
And Jeff, I'm glad you brought it up because we're going to be searching for, I know people hate the term, but moral victories. Maybe we can rephrase it. Chicken soup for the soul victories.
Do you remember?
For Canucks fans.
We've done this. Do you remember our segment back on TSN radio, what we used to call it? The Silver Linings
playback? Yeah.
Yes.
No, but I'm glad Jeff brought that up because your tweet about the game against Jersey, the perfect tank game, right? It was fun. It was entertaining for the fans. There were goals. The kids contributed, and it was a regulation loss. That's the perfect tank game. When you get shelled like you got shelled on Tuesday night, you need a reminder that this team is worthy of being on an NHL ice surface, and the defensive effort last night to get it so quickly, Jeff, after such an abomination on Tuesday, I think has got to make Foote and the players feel pretty good as well, because they were down in the. I mean, you listen to Villander, you listen to Teddy Bluger. My God, were they down in the dumps after Tuesday?
Yeah, and look, they're not a confident bunch, right? A confident bunch. We know that. The record speaks for itself, and so to go scoreless through 50 minutes. There had to be guys on the bench thinking, when's it going to turn south? Like, we've held our own to this point, but we're the Canucks and things don't go our way. And so for them to keep at it and chip it away, and then ultimately, Aatu Räty doesn't get a point on the opening goal, but he makes a nice play to pressure, I think it was Trouba, and then Jake DeBrusk seals off the wall, takes the puck, and is able to slip it across to Drew O'Connor. And I had to laugh, and good on Jake DeBrusk trying to, a little levity there. He talked post-game. I don't know if you remember in the first period, he had a 2-on-1, and it went absolutely nowhere. And he referenced that and said it was the worst 2-on-1 of the 600 games he's played in the National Hockey League. And he said there was no doubt I was passing the next time. And so puts it in the wheelhouse, and Drew O'Connor does what he's done all season, and a little bit of finish there, although I laughed when Lucas Dostal was quoted as, he called it a butterfly. Not quite Matt Murray, saying he got lucky on it, but he said the fact that the puck was fluttering actually caused him more problems. He thought he was in decent position, but it got up in sort of that shoulder neck area and just squeezed through. So again, I mean, it was a fairly boring game. It picked up as it went along. The first period, there wasn't much there. I thought the Canucks got a little bit better in the second and then finally found a way to grind out a victory. They have not done that much this year, where I've been able to win hockey games with 2 or fewer goals, just the 4th time all year that the Canucks have come out on top when scoring limited goals. And the other part there, guys, is that, you know, they were pretty disciplined, right? Like, they got crushed on the power play the other night against San Jose. It's happened to them way too often this season. The other day against Pittsburgh, they didn't take a penalty. And I thought, well, that's the best way for this penalty kill to get through unscathed, is just stay out of the box. And they did a nice job of it last night until the final minute. And I don't know what Connor Garland was thinking. Adam Foote didn't seem to know what he was thinking post-game. They get away with it, but a clear slash chops the stick out of the hands of Olin Zellweger. And I thought, isn't this perfect? Like, you know, the Canucks have gone 59 minutes here. It's a 1-0 game, and you watch, the bottom's going to fall out because they can't kill a penalty, but they dodged that bullet. And Teddy Bluger, you know, again, this has been a remarkable week for him and a nice story. Steps back in the lineup, not just scoring goals, but, you know, he's out there to kill the penalty and kill off the clock, but takes matters into his own hands, says, hey, I'm not going to let Anaheim score on the power play. I'm going to zip it the length of the ice into the empty net and seal the deal there. So right to the final buzzer. There hasn't been enough of these nights, but credit where it's due. I thought there was a pretty solid, structured team game last night. 45-goal pace for Teddy Bluger. I think it might back off a little bit, but it's been a nice start to the season.
Can he share some with Connor Garland?
Yes, exactly. Really, the hottest point getter, though, is DeBrusk. We highlighted him earlier in the show, but your thoughts on his ability to not rely on streaky goal scoring. I mean, he's got 1 goal in 5, but he's got 6 points because he's found ways to be involved otherwise. And we've been a little bit critical of that in the past, that assist column hasn't helped him out. But there's been something different here from Jake.
Yeah, and you go back to Friday night, the game against New Jersey, and he played 12 minutes or something and went much of the second period without playing. And I think we thought, Jake's back in the doghouse. Learned afterwards that he was under the weather, and something seems to be going through this locker room. And so, you know, it probably carried over through the weekend. I didn't think he was terrific against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nobody was good enough against San Jose, but I liked his game. I thought he had jumped from the outset last night, 6 shots on goal on 7 attempts. Didn't score, but was around the puck, pucks on his stick in shooting positions. He was trying to make things happen. He had a sequence on the power play where he dragged the puck from the side of the net and got a couple of whacks at it. Couldn't squeeze it through Dostal at that point. But, you know, that's how he has scored the bulk of his goals this season, is in and around the blue paint. So, yeah, he looked like he was back on his game. And maybe it was the fact that it was his 600th game in the National Hockey League. He spoke about that post-game and said, you know, he's not in it for 600 or 700, but as a kid growing up, you know, he wouldn't have believed it if you had told him he was going to get 600 games in the National Hockey League. So, it was just nice to see a smile on his face. It's been a tough year for him. He's worn a lot of this losing. You know that. You know, he doesn't try to hide it. And so, I thought, you know, and he started the game lower in the lineup. That's the other thing, too. Mm-hmm. That, you know, some guys in that situation might sulk or think there's a coach's message there. I just thought he put his work boots on and went at it last night, and ultimately was able to crack the goal scoring and set up O'Connor for that opening goal that turned out to be the game winner. So, nice night all around, I thought, for Jake DeBrusk.
Also, page 2 of my Silver Linings playback here, in addition to better defensive play, one thing that people have been calling for, I'm not usually on this train at all, but there's been numerous instances, most recently the Brock Besser injury, where people have said, why is there zero response? D-Petey stepped up with the physical response there in that game. And you can see that he's that strong, he's that big, that, you know, he won that encounter. The Ducks needed 2 or 3 guys to sort of erase D-Petey. It was a good sign.
It was, and didn't go unnoticed. Coach with the flowers for him post game as well, and so I would agree with you. I was happy to see the response there. You're talking about that third period sequence where Zellweger had the puck and tried to tuck it in, and then there was a bit of a scrum at the side of the net. Now, I'll give him credit there. I didn't love the fact that there was zero response when the Ducks went bowling for Tolopilo in the first period. Like, Ryan Poehling can't just go untouched to the front of the net, takes the penalty, and I get that it's a power play for the Canucks. Come on, it's game 54 of a season that's in the toilet. We saw what happened to Brock Besser the other day. There was no response then. At some point, I do want to see somebody step outside their comfort zone and just offer up a little bit of resistance. And so I was disappointed in the moment. Certainly, the Canucks would tell you, well, power play, we'll make them pay, but they didn't. And so I thought that was a missed opportunity. And I don't know if, there's a correlation from one to the other, but in that moment, yeah, D-Petey thought that Zellweger got an extra shot in on his goaltender and rode to his defense. And so I like to see that. I don't think we've seen enough of that, quite frankly, from D-Petey. I think he's been okay this season, but I don't know that he's been as good as he was last year. And one of the things everybody fell in love with right from the outset was this guy carved out a role for himself at the National Hockey League level, took no crap from anybody. And I want to see that back in his game. And so if it's taken this long, but it has returned now, I want to see that for the rest of the season whenever he's in the lineup.
We were this close to a do something from Jeff. And honestly, Evander Kane, you want out of here? You want to trade? You want to go to a contender or a playoff team? That was your moment.
Yes, but also it can't all just fall at the feet of Evander Kane. He's not going to be here much longer, right? I'd like to see somebody else kind of step out of their comfort zone once or twice. But you're right. While he's employed by this hockey club and he's on the bench at the very least, there could have been moments in the game for some sort of and I'm not going this isn't a bloodthirst from J-Pat. It's just it's a physical game. And there has to, if you're trying to instill culture, and we hear this all the time, then you can't let these things mount on a nightly basis where teams are taking liberties with your players. You just can't let that happen.
Third person reference from J-Pat. Normally only hear that on the golf course when he's upset with himself. Mike, nobody self-admonishes themselves better than Blake and Jeff on the golf course. The full names, it is truly...
He has less opportunity to admonish.
That's fair enough. Very fair enough. I want to get back to Garland for a second, to Jeff, because is he tradable? 30 years old, going into a 6x6 extension with 1 in 23, none in the last 16, and pointless in 12 games, or is he just on Operation Shutdown like Hughes and Sherwood before him? Talk to me.
It's hard to figure out. And I haven't had a chance to talk to him certainly this week. We all laud this guy for the passion, the fire, drags this team into the fight, literally fights for this team. We've seen that with Jared McCann in Seattle. We saw it early in the season as well. There's just nothing there right now. And that's the inexplicable part to me is they give out 2 assists on every goal. How do you not just pick up a freebie somewhere along the line? And they elevated him last night. He was playing with Elias Pettersson and Evander Kane, and say what you will about the others. I mean, that is an offensive line. It's Petey's been all right of late, and Garland just can't collect a crumb right now. So it's hard to figure. He doesn't look like himself. And I've seen people, he's pouting since they traded Quinn Hughes. And there might be some of that. But guess what? This is pro sports. Guys get traded all the time, and you are paid to deal with it and process it in your own way and move on. And it's been 6 weeks now. And so it's so hard to explain that he just doesn't look like the pepper pot guy that's out there, driving other teams nuts and getting in their faces and all that kind of stuff. It's just so quiet. And then he goes and takes the late penalty that we talked about, which is out of character for him, but maybe it speaks to a little bit of frustration, although the team was winning in that situation. So I don't know. I mean, it really is difficult to figure out. I do wonder if it tracks back to the fact that he came back off injury. He missed 5 games in his latest stint on the shelf, came back middle of that 6-game road trip. And if it's just not 100%, I don't know. But that's not the Carl Garland that we have watched here and the fans have come to love over the last bunch of years in Vancouver. And it stands out because it's so outside the norm for that player.
Yep. No, I'm 100% with you. I sure hope for his case it is the injury, because it's hard to explain otherwise. Let's ask you our Yellow Dog poll question. Do you want to see Nikita Tolopilo get some run here, Jeff?
I do.
Time?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 games to go before the Olympic break. I'd like to see him play 2 of the 3. I think they split the 2 out on the road, but I'd come back with him against Toronto. Why not? Kevin Lankinen's going to the Olympics. He's going to be busy. He doesn't need games. He's not playing particularly well right now. I think the way they had stacked it up was Tolopilo would go the distance against the Ducks, and then Lankinen would get the Saturday night featured game on hockey night, a chance for the Canucks to redeem themselves after the poor performance in Toronto 3 weeks ago. But I would come, right now, sort of win and you're in. Why not? This guy, you want to see what you've got. And for all their struggles of late, and the Leafs are maybe in a worse way than the Canucks in the last 3 weeks, they've still got guys that can put the puck in the net. William Nylander is supposed to come back into their lineup. I think offensively, they can pose a challenge for any goaltender. So I think it would be a good test for Nikita Tolopilo. And then obviously you're going out on the road, Utah. Utah's playing well right now. They're one of the best teams in the league on home ice. So that's going to be a challenge. And then Vegas, unless Vegas's Olympians all kind of have their feet up and are coasting into the break, they're Vegas. And they're going to be all that the Canucks can handle as well. So there won't be an easy game out on the road. I would think you would split those 2. And then they've got a decision to make. And if I'm advising Adam Foote, and I don't know that I've got his ear, but why wouldn't you at this stage? Just come right back from Nikita Tolopilo and see if he can go the distance, stay in the game, and see what he can do against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 4:00 start.
They don't often start a goalie 3 times in a row that's not named Thatcher Demko unless they absolutely have to. I'll be surprised, but
right. But this wouldn't be 3 in a row for
no,
Tolopilo,
it'd be 2
right?
because he played. He relieved
started against San Jose.
I know, but he played 55 minutes. So
yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. You've got an afternoon affair versus the Leafs tomorrow, so it'll be an
home
early.
Yeah,
RinkWide. You may be even home in time for supper with Shannon, and you're in for me next week. So thank you for this, Mr. Paterson. Appreciate it, and Jeff on Monday. Catch RinkWide Saturday after the game.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Oh, Botchford Project. I forgot to ask. Botchford Project. How did Botchford Project go last night?
Yeah, I thought it was terrific. Good group, and they seemed to hold their own, certainly in the media availability. They're asking Adam Foote questions, which I thought was terrific. It's all part of the experience. We say dig in, and they all had their players that they talked to. I think it was Liam Ogren, it was Petey, one of the candidates, had a good 10-minute chat with Elias Pettersson. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that. Max Sasson didn't play, but he had lots of time after his morning skate to sit down with one of our finalists as well. And then, they come back for the game last night. Again, not the greatest of games, but it picked up. Hey, they saw Canuck win. And there are not a lot of people that can say they've seen a Canuck win in person. So,
also, we all know.
Thinking, I hope none of them are writing off this game.
Well, we all know the players are a little more chatty after victory. So for their sake, probably a good thing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so no, it's always terrific. It's a reminder, it's a day of reflection, but also, there was one moment in the locker room where our 3 finalists were there talking to Quadrelli, Tyson Cole, Chris Faber, Izzy, who works at the Hockey News now, Adam Gerstenblatt from the Hockey News. There were 8 that all had a direct tie to the Botchford Project standing there in the Canucks locker room after a morning skate. And
amazing.
If that's not proof positive, and last year Noah Strang was around the hockey club. He's not there this year, but he's part of it as well. So, really, it has done what we hoped it would do in terms of producing that next wave. And hopefully they all have long and prosperous careers, and hopefully this cohort will join them. So we got to get through the editing process. I don't know about timelines and when things will be posted, but we'll certainly push all that out on social media, and I look forward to reading their work. And it was just terrific to get a chance to spend the day and the night with them.
That's awesome. Delighted for them. Great selections, Kat Botchford, as always, and good shepherding you and Mr. Drance and everyone else with the Canucks who takes care of this. And or the custodians, if you will, here of this initiative. Okay, Jeff, thank you for this. We'll watch RinkWide tomorrow night after the game against the Leafs, and you'll be in this chair on Monday. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you have a good break, and we'll see you on Monday, Blake.